What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today is Monday. And we're talking every Monday. We're talking LA Galaxy, but we're gonna do things a little different, just like how we did last week. We're gonna do a 30-minute episode because we got a lot going on. Tomorrow's a skills challenge, so we're gonna be tuning into that. So it's only gonna be a 30-minute episode. So we're gonna try to get through this as much as we can. But let me welcome my guests once again. We got Jonny Bolen from Lars. And we got Alex Ruiz from Untitled Galaxy. Jonny, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, the Galaxy didn't do too well, but like I said before, we saw that Spider-Man trailer unrelated, and now I'm excited. I'm happy, but, not too happy about the Galaxy.
Hey, look, at least you got something to be happy about. I mean, the Spider-Man trailer is pretty good. What about you, Alex? Are you excited? Are you excited about the Spider-Man trailer as well?
Yeah, it looks really fun. Hopefully, do get Tobey Maguire in the movie. That I would lose it. Also, today, first day of college done, so pretty pumped.
Oh yeah,
to do that.
Where are you going? Congrats! Round of applause. Where you going to school? So,
I'm at Mount Sac studying journalism, so it's gonna be a fun ride over there.
Are you single, Alex?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I was about to promote you. I was getting ready to promote you. Well, look, let's switch it over. Look, if you want to help them out with books, school money, lunch tickets or whatever, Alex at Mount Sac, or just say hello to a fellow Galaxy fan. Alex is going to be at Mount Sac, so
I'm an approachable guy. I'm not intimidating or scary.
Not at all. Not at all. But it's All-Star Week in LA. Today I was at the All-Star press conference, I guess you'd call it. So Bob Bradley was there. Obviously Christian Roldan and Lucas Celerine, who is in place of Carlos Vela. I was forgetting his name. And then you also had on the other side, Liga MX, you had Funes Mori, you had Talavera. So it was good. It was exciting. Jonny, how are you feeling about the All-Star game?
The All-Star games in general with every sport, it's always been really hard for me to get excited and get behind it. But I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the game, to see how, Liga MX does versus the MLS All-Stars and all that jazz. But genuinely speaking, I'm just really happy that Cheech is not playing because, I mean, wouldn't that kind of be annoying for Galaxy fans? We don't see him for months, and then he just jumps into the All-Star game. So I'm happy that he's getting a break. I'm happy that he's able to recover some more. And I hope that we see him on Saturday against LAFC. Yeah,
that'd be interesting. I think there's like a rule if you don't play the game before.
There's the Zlatan rule.
Yeah, the Zlatan rule. You can't play the next game. So we'll see. What's up to that? We're going to say hi to Anna Gonzalez. She's in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Alex, how are you feeling about this All-Star game? It's here in LA. It's at the Bank of California Stadium. Obviously, we don't got Chicharito. We don't got Carlos Vela. That was confirmed today this morning. The two biggest Mexican stars are not going to be there. Obviously, against Liga MX, that's a big thing. But what are your thoughts on this All-Star game?
I mean, even before we got the news that Vela and Chicha were going to be out, I really wasn't that hyped for the MLS All-Star game. And just in general, like Jonny mentioned, I'm never too hyped up about any All-Star event or game going on for any sport, whether it be the NBA, MLB, NFL. They got the Pro Bowl there. Most of the time, it's not really too entertaining. I mean, the skills challenge may be entertaining, kind of like how, the 3-point shooting contest and the dunk contest kind of are in the NBA. Maybe that's something. But personally, for me, I'm not too interested in the All-Star game. Yeah, I'll definitely tune into it, but it's not something that I desperately want to watch. And I'm, extremely excited to watch and see all these players go at it, really, because at the end of the day, they're not going to care as much. And honestly, that's the reason why I don't care as much either, because they're just trying to get over this, go back to their clubs, and just continue the season going.
That's interesting. You make a great point, because I think that's the thing that's tricky about these All-Star games, right? Because what is it like? What do you get out of it, right? Obviously, you get bragging rights, but you got to compete against Carlos, or you were going to compete against Carlos Vela, and that's going to be, I think, Diego Rossi and the skills challenge and all that. But at the end of the day, what do you get out of this outside of the money and all aspects of these things? I think that's what the missing is, because if you're a team or you're a fan, cool, it's an All-Star game or whatever, but what's the prize? And I think that's what's missing about this All-Star game. Because it's like you tune in, it's all cool and exciting, but there are some people that are excited. Obviously, the news breaking now, Carlos Vela and Chicharito, probably not so much. And Jonny, are you going to be going to it? I know you'll tune in, but are you planning on going to the stadium or no?
I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. And something I wanted to add to it was that the only other sport that does this during their season is baseball, and there's not nearly as many injuries in baseball as there are in soccer. So it's like, I get that, but it's like I think that's just another reason why this is just kind of like risky to me, is because we always do this, in the middle of the season, around games. I mean, we're literally like playing. Like we have a massive game this week against our rivals, and a lot of it's like and I get it. I get why they're doing it. It's going to help get eyes to the MLS and stuff. It's just hard for me as a Galaxy fan to get excited. I will watch it though. And if we do win, I will be talking loads of trash. So yeah, I'll be ready.
a little bit of bragging rights. That's good.
One thing to mention too, Gio, you mentioned how you're at the press conference. I just found it funny how, before like this past month, right, it was Vela and Chicha to be the main heads representing MLS, and now, no disrespect, but it's just Christian Roldan and Lucas De La Rayan. They're not the most marketable players. Christian Roldan seems like a really boring dude. No disrespect to him, but I kind of like get those vibes from him. So I just thought it was kind of funny that MLS kind of messed themselves over having such a congested schedule, and now their biggest stars aren't even going to be participating in any events.
Yeah, no, it is 100% on the MLS, because how do you look at the schedule and be like, look, honestly, I think this is what they thought. It's like, you know what? Well, we want to be in LA the week of El Tráfico. Let's just put it right there in the middle, and we can stay to watch El Tráfico. That's what I assume. I don't know. But when you look at that, you're like, why there? Why this week? Why not another week? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that just goes how terrible MLS is at planning things. They just are. I don't think this is the first time. Since I covered the league, there's been a couple other incidents, and I've talked to the other people that have covered this league for 10 plus years. And that's the thing about the MLS. The heads of the MLS, they're just not good at planning these things. And when I saw it, I was like, why would you schedule it the week of El Tráfico, the LA Derby, or whatever you want to call it, LAFC versus LA Galaxy? That to me never made sense. Never made sense. It was unfortunate what happened to Chicharito, and it was unfortunate what happened to Carlos Vela this Sunday, right? So two of the biggest guys that you're trying to rally behind in Los Angeles to promote this, and they end up being injured. And it's unfortunate for the guys. It's unfortunate for the league, and it's unfortunate for the fans, because I think any fans that were considering potentially going, that were on the 50-50, buying a ticket last minute, they might not be going. So we'll see what happens too. And then on another note, I was at the stadium. I need to post this video, but like the stadium doesn't look. The field looks worn out, because I think they held a concert there. There's a concert there, and then like you have the skills challenge tomorrow. May not do too much. The game on Wednesday, and then El Tráfico on Saturday. So that field by the end of the week is not going to be looking good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that MLS has a hard time with scheduling, mainly because we're stuck into this idea that like we still have to get more and more eyes on our sport, which I get, but it's not 2010 anymore. We have a good fan base for all of these clubs. We don't have to have these like games in such a weird time of the season. Like if we would have done it, and I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously, but if we were to do this during the international window, all of the people that they were advertising could have like, obviously with injuries considered, but scheduling wise, Araujo, Chicharito, Vela, all those players were here. They were all here during the international window when no games were happening. We could have.
The only caveat though is people expected at least Chicharito to be on the national team. Obviously, that's not the case, but obviously, I mean, you'd be missing a lot of the stars for the MLS. But unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. I don't think the MLS has to continue with these All-Star games. I don't know. That's just me. Exhibition games, continue them, right? Get Copa America, get Chivas, and all those different things. Bring it in, because I do understand what they're trying to do, but I think how they're going about it, maybe it's not the best way, and there's other options to go about it. Because there's at the end of the day, there's nothing what you win, right? What does the All-Star game mean? What do you win out of this? What do you get out of this? Out of just being, it's supposed to be a chill week. It's not a chill week. Players are getting injured left and right, and players ain't trying to play right now because they got such a congested schedule. This is like the last. I mean, I don't want to say the last thing, but it's like, wouldn't you rather get a rest than have to fly to LA? And just rest. If you're flying from like Miami, all these different parts, it's like in New England. It's pretty far, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Want to say what's up to Galaxy Guy Podcast. El Trafico's tuning in. What's up, Mike? Mike Jones? He says, "What's up, players?" Nothing much, man. You got to drop that number again. But yeah, let's talk about the Galaxy. We got a little bit of man. Oh, we actually mentioned Joe Naranjo is the only LA Galaxy player that's going to be representing, which is a good thing for the Galaxy and representing. But obviously, you don't want to play that many minutes, so we'll see how much time he gets, and because he's a competitor. A competitor is going to want to play no matter what. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about Galaxy's loss. Against the Cali Clasico against San Jose. Johnny, what are your thoughts after this 2-1 defeat?
Man, going into it, I thought it was really smart because it really seemed like Greg Vanney was trying to get his younger guys out there, get them going quick, and then get all the strong guys in the second half. Get Dos Santos in, get Grandsir in, and it looked and Vasquez, and it looked like it worked. I mean, right when they went on, it really looked like there was like a difference of play, difference of quality. But the problem is, and he said it himself. At the end of the day, it's our mindset on defending, and he put it perfectly. It just seems like if we need to have this guy that's striking, and that's our problem. And the worst possible case is to have a defense that can't be consistent, and we have that right now. Like always, like I'm being optimistic. I feel like it's just little adjustments. We haven't had Jorge Villafaña in a minute, so it's like we have cards, we have things. We haven't been at 100%, so I think that we can do better. But that game just seemed like a mess. It just seemed like we were always kind of had our backs against the wall. It seemed like we never had urgency on the ball. It seemed like we were always making these mistakes in the back line. And I didn't really think we deserved. I mean, even the goal we scored, it was an own goal. I mean, that the keeper should have saved that. We played a terrible game. So I would just hope that later on, once we get our guys back, we're able to have a more consistent attack. Because, like I say, every single week we are not at 100%.
Yeah, and Greg Vanney really emphasized. He really went off on the defense, and I got a quote here from him. It says, "I think our defending is not good enough, and it's on me. Our mentality to defend has to change." End quote. And I thought that was interesting because he really went on the defending. If you guys saw the press interview for a long time, and he was really upset. Alex, what were your thoughts on what Greg Vanney had to say after the game?
Very interesting. Now, I'll bring this up before, I talk about this a little bit more, but even in his time in Toronto, Greg Vanney's goal differential wasn't that high. So it's not like Greg Vanney's Toronto teams were necessarily known for their defense. And going into this year, I kind of expected it to be the same story, right? Where our defense is still kind of a liability. And on year one, I don't expect that to be completely cleaned up and tidied up. Now, talking about this, what he said, right? The mentality to defend definitely needs to change. Over the last couple of years, those center backs that have played in those positions, the only one left is Daniel Steres, really. So there's been a whole, change when it comes to defenders, center backs, fullbacks, whoever is playing over there. From the years in which the Galaxy were bottom of the Western Conference, worst defense in the league, most of those players, except Daniel Steres, are gone. I believe that there's still a lot more time because we really haven't seen much of Derek Williams and Sega Coulibaly. I think that's still the best duo right now. I mean, Williams didn't play in the Cali Clasico for resting reasons. So I'm still confident that there's a lot to learn. And I think this is going to be a real wake-up call, before we go on the stretch of games where we're on the road a lot, where they won't be that many home games. Because if I'm correct, there's only 5 more home games for the rest of the season. So I think Van is trying to put in that mentality right now before it's way too late and before we're, heading into the playoffs and we still don't know if our defense will be able to hold up against some of the more elite teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, no, I think it was interesting, like him, going off. Obviously, disappointing loss, but I just also felt like the offense wasn't doing that good either. You know what I'm saying? I think, one of the players is Kevin Cabral. To me, we talked about him and stuff, and I've said that in the long term he's gonna pan out, and I still believe that. But I think this game was probably the most disappointing game that I've seen of Kevin Cabral play this year because there was just towards the end, I don't know, there was no hunger, there was no real fight in him that you're like, either one, he was just tired or I don't know what it was, but it was probably the most disappointing performance so far that I've seen of Kevin Cabral. When the previous game he didn't play because I think he was either nursing an injury or I forgot what was the reason. He was like a late scratch, but this was the game, right? You got to rest. you got a whole game to rest to come back, and he went out with a performance like that. And I think that kind of let a lot of bad taste in people's mouth, because this was a game like, hey, they needed him a lot more, and unfortunately he didn't show up. Johnny, what were your thoughts on Kevin?
I'm going to say what I always say about him. I'm going to say that he's still trying to find his way. He's still trying to figure out the style that he wants to play. And I got to be honest, like having Joveljic jump on, I feel like kind of messes with that, because you're constantly throwing him in different positions. So it's like, how is he going to get comfortable playing in a certain position? Also, I think having, I know we're talking about Cabral here, but having Alvarez on that right side, I know that he's been doing great, but last game, like he didn't do that good. I feel like Cabral doesn't have a lot of support, and I feel like to get the best out of Cabral, we have to have like when Cheech is up top and you have Grand Sear on the other side, or situations like that. Obviously, he still needs to grow, but I think that he's still finding his way. I think that this season in general is an actual rebuilding. We've been saying that every year. Oh, we're rebuilding. This is actually a rebuilding season. We have the players. They have the ability. We know that they do. It's just getting them to be comfortable in their role. And that's kind of what we're doing with Kevin Cabral. We're throwing him all over, trying to find a place where he's comfortable.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that. I could see a lot of these changes. I think just the effort wise is what was disappointing for me. Like, look, there's a lot of different things that I felt he could have done differently. But I think the team needed him a little bit more, and I'm surprised he honestly didn't get subbed off, because he just didn't have a good game. He just didn't have a good game. Alex, what were your thoughts on Cabral?
Yeah, same as you guys. Not the greatest game. Kind of disappeared in the last 20 minutes of the game. If I'm correct, he barely got any touches within the final 20 minutes. It felt like the only attack we were getting in those last 20 minutes were from Sam Granzier, and that was about it, really. He's the energy guy. He's the guy that's going to work all game long. We had him come off the bench, and he did his best to try to impact the game. Johnny mentioned, right, Dejan Joveljic and Cabral's positioning have definitely been moved around and tinkered a lot this year. Dejan as well is really struggling to getting touches and really quality opportunities, because he's getting the ball a lot at the top of the box and not much inside of the box, really. He's more of kind of like the hold-up guy. Every time I see him, grabbing the ball, holding up, waiting for a midfielder or a winger to make a run and kind of passing it out there. So I don't think we're really utilizing Dejan Joveljic's best abilities in that sense. So while this was a really bad game for Cabral, and like Johnny mentioned, this being a rebuilding year, I think this kind of game Cabral is going to look at and try to figure out what can I do better, because MLS is a physical league, and San Jose is a physical team. We saw that he kind of lost his cool a little bit in the first half when he was getting tackled a lot. And I don't know if there's a stat for this, but I feel like when I watch the Galaxy, I feel like Cabral's always being fouled, whether it be called by the ref or not. I feel like there's a lot of physicality when it comes to, when Cabral's on the ball and players try to get it off of him. I think I have to look this up and look up, some stats on MLS.com, but I think he's one of the more fouled players in the entire league, really. So that's something that I've kind of noticed. And I'm like, I think that's kind of messing with him, mentally. You're always getting beaten up on the field right there. So I think that's something that's also affecting his play as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and El Tráfico says struggling with physicality, but he could turn a corner soon like concern. No, I definitely do see that. I just feel like this game specifically, it was just disappointing and needed more out of him. The team needed more. Cabral's shots, Philip Rivera says, Cabral's shots almost always come out with no pace, power, no effort. I believe he did have like a one-on-one, was in the second half, and I think he just hit it off wide right, if I remember.
That's mostly
correctly.
Because he's an inverted winger, right? He's on the left, but he's right-footed. So most of the time the defenders are going to try to make him shoot with the left foot, and he's not that great with his left. So that's why you notice those shots with no pace and no power, because he's an inverted winger.
Yeah, I think yes, but there's a but. He has to do better. No
doubt about it. But that's one of the reasons why you kind of see that.
Yeah, no, it's yes and but. You're a DP player. You're getting paid DP money, and understand your first season. It just all around the effort for this game, it just wasn't there for me. I do like Kevin Cabral. I do feel he's gonna have a successful time with the LA Galaxy, depending how long it is. But I just didn't like this game for him, and I think I was just disappointed in his performance. I think he would say the same thing. And you hit another point. I think Dejan, he really struggled because no one was really helping them up top. He had Efrain, but I felt like Efrain. I know Greg Vanny was, they've had like 3 games in 7 days, or I forgot 6-7 days. But I felt like, if they started Grand Sur and Dejan, like if you would have had the speed out there, it would have looked a lot different. And I think in the second half, Dejan had a shot outside the box. It was kind of like a frustration shot outside the team. It got to the keeper, but you could tell he was really frustrated because he wasn't really getting help up there. And he's a player that I really like. Jovic really does, to me, I see him, he reads the game really well. And unfortunately, he wasn't getting I feel like the assistance that he needed up top. Maybe that will change once Chicha goes there. Maybe this was just a bad game all around for Cabral and a couple other players. But we'll have to see moving forward. I did have a couple clips. Oh, Johnny, give me your thoughts on Dejan before I move on.
Oh, I like him. I haven't seen enough of him though, and I think it's okay. And I'm gonna get hated on for this. Last season, the games that Chicha did play, he didn't get the ball ever. And that's a fact. You could go to those games. He never got the ball. And I would always say that. I always say, yeah, I was pissed that he was injured most of 2020. But in the games that he did play, he had mistakes, but he didn't get the ball enough for us to really understand like who he was as a player. I feel like it's the exact same thing with Dejan. I really do. He's not getting the ball enough. He really isn't. The midfield doesn't know really how to use him. It seems like their chemistry just isn't there yet. And I don't know how he plays because they haven't given it to him enough yet. But I think that's going to come. He's a talented player, just like you said. He's able to read the game very well. There's been times where, like, at the end of the game, I think it was not against it was against Colorado. He was making these awesome runs, and nobody was there to connect him with it. So I think it's just a matter of time. I think once they learn how to play together, once they get him the ball more, he's going to be a lot more comfortable, a lot less stressed, and he's going to really come into his own. Yeah,
I agree. Funko Dep 11 says, Galaxy hasn't had their full squad this entire season. Healthy personal losses, with Jonah and Seba, and no depth up top have all added to the mediocre performance. They just need a rest and get healthy. Hey, that is definitely true. I definitely do see that. I do have videos of the defense. I meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about the defense, but we'll go back and talk about this. So this is San Jose's first goal, and I think if you look at this goal, well, I'll point it out after. Let me just go ahead and play this.
Abacassis and Mbobasi, this time he's done it. His first goal in San Jose blue against his favorite opponents. Three weeks ago, he scored here for the Portland Timbers in what turned out to be his farewell appearance. And tonight, same ground, same opponents. He opens a brand new goal-scoring account.
Yeah, but this is a fantastic look from Eric Ramadi to understand where Lopez is in that pocket of space. So now the game opens up, and San Jose has been at their best tonight when their fullbacks have gotten forward. And Mbobasi doing exactly what you're taught to do.
So Mbobasi, if you look at that play, Mbobasi was wide open, and Joan Araujo was tracking back, but that was Efrain Alvarez's man who was supposed to pick him up, and he didn't pick him up, and he was wide open. And at the end, you can see Joan Araujo's frustration. And I think that is one of the things Greg Vanny is pointing to, because Efrain Alvarez just has to do better there. And I think when you see that, when they look at the replay, how he was just jogging back and not going to cover for Julian, I think that's where the frustration happens. And I think that's what Greg Vanny was referring to. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, look, there's a lot of guys on here that are going to be competing for competition. If they're not going to defend, there's going to be someone else come in. And he's totally right to say that. But I think that's one of the small things right there that, that could be a whole different story. Maybe if Efrain Alvarez gets there, he may bumps Mbobasi a little different, and it may or may not be a goal. Alex, what were your thoughts on that play right there?
Yeah, a lot of defensive, I guess, miscommunication there. You mentioned Efrain Alvarez there too. I thought Nick DePuy also as well could have done a little bit better to, tell Sega, hey, this is gonna be my man, right behind me. Take the person behind you, because they were both leaving Mbobasi kind of not open, hoping that whether it be Araujo or whether it be Alvarez, that one of them would be marking Mbobasi, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. You mentioned right now, right, how a lot of players, especially in that midfield and those wingers as well, they're fighting for spots, and I feel like if Efrain really doesn't take the defensive duties too much, he's going to lose a starting spot, which is huge for him, really, because he's trying to get himself into the national team as a regular, especially with World Cup qualifying coming in really, really soon, right around the corner. I think, it's going to be a big wake-up call for him, because we've seen Sam Granzier play that role, and he's done it extremely well when it comes to playing both ends of the floor, basketball kind of phrase right there. But, Sam Granzier's done great there. If Efra can at least put in a lot more effort, then I think he's definitely going to make a case to be one of the, solid starting players, someone who we aren't going to move from game to game in the starting 11.
Yeah. So I'm going to play the second goal. And this is Chofi's. He pretty much breaks down the defense, and the ball ends up in the back of the net.
Oh, good escape. And that too, from the most acute of angles, is a very unusual finish. But Javier Chofis Lopez is the man who dances a jig of celebration. A moment of mercurial magic, and again of some goalkeeping embarrassment.
Yeah, but how many times tonight has he lost his defender in a half a yard of space?
Trying to see if they show the
wonderful
replay.
Job of slowing him down, stopping the attack, and then just a little shimmy of the hips. He's lost the defender. The technique is exquisite. Yeah, maybe a little deflection here or there.
Yeah, I just feel, I don't know if you guys could hear me over the replay, but I just felt like right there, that's on Sega. Like, Sega has to do a better job. Johnny, what were your thoughts on that?
Here's the thing. When you have a team that plays a 4-3-3, you set a standard that you say we want to prioritize an attack. And that's why Greg Vanney sat back and said that that's his fault. I guarantee you he's in that locker room all the time saying, we got to have pressure. We got to keep the ball. We have to keep possession. We have to attack. And when you have that expectation, it takes pressure and weight off of that defense. It changes the expectation of the defense. So when you have a game that doesn't go as planned, just like that one, the defense is going to have tons of moments where they have errors because they're in their own head. They're messing up. Koulibaly messed that goal up 110%. He should have stepped up quicker. He should have been a bit more aggressive. But also, God, I love the guy. That was poor goalkeeping by Bond, too. That was near post. There's no reason why he shouldn't have stopped that. So I think that a lot of these issues with the defense come with expectation from Vanney. And I think that that's why Vanney was so quick to take ownership of it. Is because he said multiple times how, hey, we want this team to be an attacking team. We want to play a fun game, We want to look like fun. We want to score tons of goals. But when you do that, you leave tons of holes open in the defense. And if you can't score all of those goals you want to score, then you're just going to concede a bunch too. So I think that that's kind of the core of the issue with the LA Galaxy right now. And in that clip and the two goals that you saw, it's just the defense crumbles when the plan doesn't go, to plan.
I was playing. No, yeah, no. Alex, I'm gonna get to you. I want to get to the standings here because I think the Galaxy have fallen to fourth place with everything that's happened. I mean, it's still not bad considering what's been going on here with the Galaxy. All right, so if you see this right, obviously Seattle is at number 1 with 42 points. Kansas City second with 39 points. Colorado 37 points. Galaxy in fourth place with 35 points. And Minnesota, there's a bit of a gap. There's about 7-point difference. You got Minnesota with 28 points in fifth place. So if we look at the standings, right, you got big game coming up this week for both teams, right? For LA Galaxy and LAFC. But if you win, you can come up to Colorado. You can go back to third place. Obviously, you don't want to drop any more points. How do you see the standings after week 21?
All right, so I don't know. I think it's going to be hard for us to really do anything with the team that we have, with the decisions we've been making. I think if Vanney's going to start playing with a different formation and start prioritizing the defense, which I think he needs to do, it's going to take a couple games to acclimate to that. Like I said before, it is a rebuilding season. If we end anywhere, I mean, I would be happy if we ended in 5th or 6th place. I'd be okay with that. That's kind of what my
really 5th or 6th place.
And I know I'm changing it because I was really hyped up months ago.
What is your at? I think a lot of people are going to want to come.
It's right there. Everybody can see it right there,
baby. Right there.
I'm teasing, but no, this team. I don't know. That's this team's expectations. You got to at least get home field advantage. Let's get Alex in here. How do you feel about this, and what would you like Galaxy to finish?
Okay, so I mean, we can get started mentioning a good thing, right? Like, there's a gap between 4th and 5th, pretty big gap, right? So we know the Galaxy are going to be competing for a top 4 spot, which is good, right? You at least want one home game when it comes to the playoffs to just get a good push going forward. and really kind of get some momentum going into, the playoffs, which are really tough. And, luck plays a big part in that. So I think the Galaxy, if they just continue to learn the defense a lot better, and, you mentioned switching formation, personally, me, when it comes to, my tactics, whether it be FIFA or
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
here,
GM Alex.
dude, I love a back five. I love having wing backs. And personally, I think it can work. You have 3 good center backs, right? You can put in Williams in the middle to kind of, move the ball around because he's good with the ball at his feet. You can have Sega on the left or right, and then you can have Nick DePuy right there as well. You have Hamalainen, who really has been playing as a left, wing back for most of his career, not a traditional left back, a left wing back, which means getting forward, coming back in there. Julian Araujo, I think, can really fit that right wing back. And I'm, personally, I think he will be even elevate his game even more, especially with now the demand that the right wing back position is needed all across Europe. I think if he plays at that position, he can get a pretty big transfer, just saying. And then you have Ryan in there, right? Those 2 midfielders. Ryan can come in case, one of the wing backs is caught too forward. So you can kind of play a forward at the back with Ryan kind of being that extra center back. And then Sega and DePuy can kind of be like those, left, right back covers for now until Heimelainen or Araujo come back in. You can play Jonah right there as well next to him, trying to advance the play forward. And then you have your, 2 wingers up there, Cabral, Grancier, and then Dejan or Chicha, however you want to go. Personally, I would go with Chicha for now, and then Dejan kind of be like a super sub as well. So personally, those are my tactics.
Fair enough. Sounds like Alex has been playing
Galaxy.
FIFA. He's already been doing this. So
I've been tinkering a lot in FIFA, so I think this could work.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get you guys' final thoughts because we're gonna have to switch over. But Johnny, give us your final thoughts.
Dude, Alex, I couldn't agree with you more. That is the best idea. Greg Vanny said before how most of our goals are made from their mistakes. Like we'll have like their mistakes tracking back, or when the ball gets switched over, it's a mistake. That's how we need to play. I know that we want to have a 4-3-3, but if we have a 5 in the back, oh my gosh, that would be perfect. Because that's basically how we're playing anyway. Most of the goals we're scoring anyway are from counterattacks. Like that's absolutely perfect. So
exactly. Because Grancier and Cabral coming in to defend as well on the wide flanks as well is gonna really help. Revelson can really play that center back role in case we're also caught. Because that's really what happened during San Jose. We were caught so many times in their counter.
I'm gonna have you guys share your guys' FIFA handles, and that way you guys can play and give us all these tactics. No, look, I like that idea.
Galaxy fans, let me know. What do you guys think about the back 5? Seriously, I'm serious because I really think we can succeed here in MLS with the physicality and lots of counterattacks in this league. Having a back 5 and playing it really well because we have the personnel to play a back 5 as well.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. We're out of time. Quickly, predictions versus LAFC this weekend, Johnny.
I'll make predictions, baby, but I'm not gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. You almost got me.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Come on, at least a dub. You can't say.
No, I can't say it. That's bad luck for me. Alex, you go.
Alex, come on. I need a.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be like Johnny. It's gonna be a tight game. It's gonna be a tight game.
You guys are boring. You guys are boring. All right, that's all we have. All the time we have with these boring guys over here. Just kidding. Thank you guys for being on. Give us a second, and we're gonna wrap things up and go on to talk about LAFC.
All right.
Cool. All right, guys. Welcome to the LA Soccer Hub show. The second half. We're talking here LAFC, and joining me today we got JP Marcus. We got LAFC Live, aka Garrett. How you fellas doing?
Could be better, but we're another day.
Okay, look, before we get into things, Live, how was Vegas? Because I know you were in Vegas this weekend. How was that?
It was great until LAFC played and Arsenal played. I lost money, so I don't, stupid me betting money on them. So
how much did you bet? I'm
not that stupid. I only put $40 on LAFC to draw because I knew they wouldn't win, but they blew that too. And then I put $40 for Arsenal to win.
Usually just a straight bet.
Straight up, 2 separate ones, yeah. And usually Arsenal somehow beats Chelsea randomly sometimes. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll get one. But I saw the starting 11. I was like, nah. So
it's not gonna happen.
No. So other than that, Vegas is great, but yeah, leave it to them to ruin it. So there you
go. Look, it was a tough weekend. Didn't get any easier. But before we get into that, let's talk about All-Star game, All-Star week. JP and I were today's press call. Bob Bradley was there, Christian Roldan. You also had Lucas Celarayan. I'm saying it wrong. Obviously, the Liga MX guys. What'd you think of the experience today, JP?
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely my first, in-person media event, and it was great. It was cool to see all the players, how they handle themselves, what I guess real journalism is like. So yeah, it was definitely fun. Got to see some players. So yeah, it was definitely a great experience.
Garrett, what do you think of what is your expectation, or how excited are you for the All-Star game festivities?
I want to be honest with you, I don't care about it. Like, I don't like when it got announced. I honestly, like every other All-Star game, like I don't have any interest in it. I mean, maybe I'm weird, but I just don't like All-Star games. And like MLS Liga MX, I know they're trying something different instead of like East West and whatnot, which is cool, but at the same time, I just don't have any interest. And then they have the skills competition, which is kind of cool, I guess. But at the same time, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But for the fans that are going, kind of sucks now since there's no Vela, no Chicharito. So it's kind of a bummer. But at the same time, this is what happens when you have an All-Star game when they're playing games like what 2 to 3 games a week. So injuries are bound to happen, So we'll see. I mean, for the fans that are going, hopefully they have fun.
Yeah, look, what I will say, I was able to partake in the skills challenge. It's not as easy as it looks. And
you look good. You look good, man. You look good out there.
Look, man. Look, I'm not like I played a little bit back in my day. That's all I'm gonna say. Played a little bit, but it was fun to do. But the skills challenge should be interesting to see, because I'm just curious to see which players do better than me. Honestly, just selfishly talking there. But no, I'm also very interested to see. Well, obviously now with Chicharito and Vela being confirmed out and going against Liga MX players, and I think that was a big blow, because I said this earlier, the league is just so bad at planning things out. You have all these games, you don't expect this to when I saw it when it first came out, I was like, this is bound to happen. This is it's just too many things all at once, and you're trying to squeeze everything in. And I just think the league did a poor job trying to schedule, because they could have pushed it back maybe to September or something. I don't know, but it just not the right time to have this. And unfortunately, this is what happens. And, there's not that much of an interest level, I feel like, for this. And now with the two biggest stars, they go down, and, obviously LAFC dealing with what they're going through. Maybe this is a good thing to get away from all that. I don't know. How do you see that, JP?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a distraction for the players. Maybe, some teams aren't doing as good as they want, or, just to get out of their routine. So it's definitely a breath of fresh air. Who doesn't want to come to LA, nice weather during the summer. So I think it'll be nice, a break for the rest of the MLS players. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see this big hype from the fans that are really going to go overflow this stadium for the game.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one. All right, let's talk about LAFC. 4-game losing streak, winless in 7. Let's hear it live. Let's hear it. Let's hear how you feel. What's going on? What's going on in the mind of live?
Bob has to go. That's first off for me. Since we lost to San Jose, that was it. I put the Bob out, and every time we lose now, I just tweet Bob out, because that's what I want. Obviously, there's Bob out versus Bob in, or if you're in the middle, I mean, it is what it is. But the milk is stale, and we need to take it out now. He's lost the locker room, in my opinion. It looks like the players that sometimes they look like they care, then at other times it looks like they couldn't be asked. There's a beautiful picture of Bob right there. He's been looking like that lately after every game when we lose. So his decision making is just awful now. I think he's really lost the locker room, and you can tell. I guess me and JP were talking a little bit earlier today that in the press conference he looked kind of just like that glaring stare. He looks, I don't know, to be honest with you. He just needs to go, Gio, to be honest with you. The faster he goes, maybe we can get a spark. I know people are saying that you can't get a coach during the season, the MLS and whatnot. Well, Atlanta did it, so why can't we do it? I don't understand that. Toronto did it. Obviously, Toronto's having a harder time, but at least they took a gamble.
Fair point.
At least they took a gamble instead of sitting on their hands. And then that's for the front office that's their job. They're getting paid to get a coach. If they see that it's not working, they're just going to sit on their hands, or are they actually going to make a move and do something? So the faster he goes, the better. And if you are still Bob in this weekend, if we get piped 3-0, then I question you. I question your authority.
I question your what if they get a win? What if they get a win against Galaxy?
It doesn't change anything for me. It papers over the cracks. Because we've done that before already this season where we're struggling, we got to win, and then we're back to old ways. So it doesn't change anything for me. And I already know that if we win, which obviously we all want to win, everyone's going to be, yeah, Bob's done it again. He's figured it out. And then we're going to go on a 2-game losing streak, and it's back to it's a roundabout. It's a roundabout. So, yeah, we just need someone new and some new blood, someone that actually knows what's going on now. It's getting old.
Look, what I will say, I think even after the press call, even I think what you saw JP in the press call, I think, after the way they lost that game, obviously it's never easy. And I think, the thing that surprised me was that, he didn't have essentially he had no words, but, it's because the same thing keeps happening over and over. And I thought that was just surprising because, I didn't expect him, but I think this is definitely the worst I've ever seen Bob. This was definitely the worst I've ever seen this team. That obviously the energy's not there. Granted, there's a number of things going on, but what are your thoughts on obviously the press call and LAFC's mood right now?
Just the mood is just not there. He said it. His opening remarks were, "I don't know what I can do to get these guys over the hump." That's a paraphrase, but he just doesn't know. He doesn't have any more. He in essence he used all the tricks in his book, and he just doesn't know where else to go. We went from 4-3-3 to 5 at the back to reverting it mid-game, see if that did anything. And granted, he doesn't tell his players to go miss those open shots, but if your team in the second half goes in 1-0, gets tied in the 60th minute, is losing possession of the ball, which is what you're known for, how can you not make a sub up until the 88th minute and then you get scored on for the comeback win? I mean, there just needs to be some adjustment, energy-wise, physical physical-wise, like somebody needs to go in the midfield with more energy that has, that isn't as tired to make something happen, to make it seem like Bob at least tried to not lose this game or, to come back in this game. But, I think his last card is tomorrow, is on Saturday against Carson. And if he loses, then there's honestly no excuse why he should stay for the rest of the season. And then JT will be in the hot seat, and all eyes will be on him if he does something to try to save this season via take Bob out, or hold a press conference and say, I think I'm all in on Bob until the end of the season because of his experience or whatever JT wants to say. Because
that's fair. I think regardless of what happens, there should be.
Just write it off. If that's the case. Just write it off.
They should address it either way. It should be addressed. Either way, because I think after the Galaxy game,
it'll be 5 lose. It'll be 5 game winless, 5 loss streak.
But you're saying that Bob said that I don't know what else to do. What does that tell you?
No, I know. I'm just saying, his last card is against Carson. It makes more sense business-wise. He needs to be the coach for the MLS All-Star game. You're not going to fire him before.
I'd sack him before.
I know you would, but
look, we're not playing FIFA over here live, so it's like there's things he still has to do, whether you like it or not. But look, Eric's here. Let me get Eric's take. He says, "I'll take beating Carson over making the playoffs if given the choice." Okay, I see that. Let's get another one here. Oscar from Facebook, Oscar Semental, he says, I said it on your last show. Bob needs to go so the new coach can get an idea what he will need for the next season. Our new coach can use the rest of the season as practice to rebuild for the next season. I think fair point, but I think there's going to be an interim coach before that happens. And CeeLo has said he's been Bob out since the Seattle game. Which Seattle game? Because there's been 2 Seattle games. The second one. So that's interesting, So we'll see. But look, there were some positives, and let's talk about the small positives that were on this team. Anthony brings up thoughts on Brian's game on Saturday. I've critiqued Brian Rodriguez heavily because I didn't think he performed before he left DP play. on Saturday is probably one of the best performances I've seen Brian Rodriguez in a black and gold in an LAFC jersey have. He created the goal opportunity off the penalty. He was breaking down the defense down the line, right? And unfortunately, he was able to cross the ball, but Rossi and Chicho were blowing it over the goal, just skying over the goal. But Live, give me your thoughts on Brian Rodriguez, because he did have a good game.
So when I got home from Vegas, I recorded the game, so I watched it. Rodriguez, you know what? Since he's been back, he's done what we asked. He's been giving it his all. He's been creating chances. He's been going on the wings. And he's doing what we thought he wasn't going to do, which is actually have an attitude, but he doesn't. He's been playing. He's been putting his head down and playing. And on the day of the game, he did well. So, I mean, he's doing what we asked. Could he score more goals? Yeah, because that's what we bought him for, to create chances and score goals. But it's also up to the forwards. Rossi, who's been not up to his best all season. I don't care if he's an all-star. He shouldn't be for this season. And then Chicho, who couldn't score in a brothel, has just been not what we expected so far. And Cal Jennings, the dude's been tearing it up for Vegas, and he hasn't gotten any chances at all for this team. And when he does get on the pitch, he's on there for 3 minutes, playing on a wing. So what's that going to do? So I don't know. Rodriguez has done his part. For me, Rodriguez has been better than Rossi so far, even coming back from his loan spell. For me,
I would have to agree. Since Rodriguez got back, if we pair him up when Rodriguez got back and Diego Rossi, Rodriguez has been the better player. But he hasn't gotten that. I think this is the first full game he was able to play. But no, I like what Brian Rodriguez has done on social media. He's, seemed like he seemed to mature. Unfortunately, things aren't going LAFC's way, So I like what Brian Rodriguez is doing, and hopefully he continues that moving forward. I do want to play the goal. I know this is gonna hurt, but I got to play it.
Flicked on. There's goal! Yes! Ryan Gold! That one is surely his. It's 2 on Vancouver.
I don't know how this goal went in. I literally don't even know. I was just watching this. I think it was on Raheem Edwards. He gave him a little bit too much space. Yeah, too much space. He's right there in the middle by himself. Look, I don't need to play it again. I don't need to throw more salt in the wound. But I was watching the game. JP, you and I were watching the game, and I was like, okay, LAFC gonna walk away with the point. That's fair enough. You're in Vancouver, you walk away with the point. This happens, and I was like, oh my god. Out of everything that you could essentially blame Bob, I think this is it's more on the players' lack of not understand the situations. Happened too many times, and look, it's just when this team is not mentally strong and these things continue to happen, it's just unfortunate. And when you see that, because this has to be the third time that's happened to LAFC, what goes through your mind, Live?
I guess just deja vu. It's the same thing over and over, reliving it. Miscommunication in the back. Raheem Edwards gives too much space. Kim Woo-Wan and Mario looking at each other Kim Woo-Wan and Mario looking at each other confused. I feel bad for Thomas Romero. He's just standing there really it's happened again. I feel bad for the kid. He's constantly having to pick the ball out of the net in the 90th plus minute every single week, it seems like. So you move on, I guess, to the game against Carson.
Yeah, look. Yeah, I think to me, once I saw that, and then, obviously Bob was able to come out and, I asked him, what his message was to the fans. Because I asked the same question to Sasha Kleshman last year when Galaxy was getting smacked around and they were losing. I will say this. I was a little surprised that he didn't necessarily address the fans or apologize to the fans in some sort of way, because look, it's not just Bob that's suffering, it's LAFC, it's the fans as well, right? That make up LAFC, and it's all the passion, right? And this is why we do the show as well. But the 32-52, I felt like he could at least address it a different way. I don't know, JP, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we were both there on the call, and I told you, I was like, just ask him, and it was the perfect. It was served on a platter for him to say, "I'm sorry, this is 4-game losing streak." Like he's the ultimate. He's ultimately the most responsible person, and he's the coach, so he should apologize to the fans. You know, you don't, especially the 32-52 who took like 200 plus to Atlanta. You know, after that, and then you go to Vancouver and lose again. You know, the question was set up for him to just say, "I'm sorry" to the fans, and he didn't. And I don't know if he ever will. I don't know if after a loss against Carson, that's when he'll do it. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem like Bob's in the right headspace either. You know, he's just doubting himself, doubting the players. Maybe, I don't know, but it's just not right with him.
Look, anytime that will happen to anybody. Let's just be clear. If you haven't won in 7 games or in 4-game losing, that happens to every player, coach. It's not just him, but
it's LAFC and it's Bob Barley and all the experience, and you know, if you're the 3rd highest payer in the league, this can't be happening. You know, this just can't be happening and not being remorseful in some sort of way.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Did you feel that you would like an apology from Bob live? You and the rest of the 32-52?
Hey, I expect more than an apology from Bob. I feel really bad for the fans who went out to Atlanta. There was a lot of them, and they definitely gave it their all at the chance. And how dare him not say sorry or anything, taking any accountability for anything going on. For me, those fans give it their all, and he's not giving his all. I mean, as far as I can see on the pitch, and it's not right. It's not right now.
Yeah. We got an interesting comment from Anthony. He says, should Cisniega start on Saturday? Looks like Romero's confidence dropped. I don't think Romero's confidence has dropped. I don't know about that. I don't know about Cisniega starting. Pablo?
There's just so much he can do. I mean, Romero, if you know, they left him alone in the header, you know.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
There's so much Romero can do. So, and it's been like that. Joseph's was literally 1-on-1 on a penalty, you know, with the biggest run up ever from half field, with Joseph's run up from half field. Like, there's so much Tomas can do. You know what Tomas screams. He can play with his feet. You know, he saved us in Atlanta. You know, he had some big saves. He had some saves in the first half, so he keeps us in games. But ultimately, it's the defense and the midfield and the whole team basically that just falls asleep in the last 10 or 15 minutes. And, you know, Romero can defend against 11 players. You know, Romero can defend everything by himself. So it's not on Romero. I think his confidence is still there. He works hard, you know. I like the kid. So I don't think, you know, it's not that I don't like Pablo and the Pablo isn't good. I just think Romero still deserves to be there.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that as well. Oscar has another comment. He says Moon had to step up on both goals. On the first goal, he stopped and the forward pushed it in after it hit the post. And on the second goal, he was just looking at the forward coming in and he headed in. Yeah, I did see that in the second goal. I'm not going to play the first goal again. I don't want to be that brutal to you guys. But no, like all around it's so weird to see how far LAFC has dropped, because there's just so much talent in this team, and for them to be in a 7-game winless streak, I meant to bring this up, but I mean, they're not far off, even though they're going through this tough stretch. And that's the thing about the MLS. It can be a very forgiving league. They can potentially turn things around, but it's looking unlikely, right? Just the way they've been playing. But let me pull up the standings here, because I think it's important to see. So if we look, obviously Seattle number 1, 42 points, and LAFC in 9th place with 23 points. Right above them is Portland with 24 points, and in 7th place is San Jose with 26 points. And right below them is Vancouver, who they lost to, with 23 points. I mean, a win could change things. They could potentially be tied for 7th with San Jose, or they could be an 8th, depending how things fall off there, or another loss, and they definitely could drop points. But you're not far off from the playoffs. But I don't think this is what you were thinking about when you were thinking about LAFC this year. Live?
Nope. I wasn't thinking that. That would be in 9th place as of right now. I thought we'd be in the top 3 for sure, with at least 38 to 35, 38 points. And looking at that standings, I mean, you got Vancouver who just beat us right behind, or actually tied with us with the same points. Dallas right behind us. And if Austin, for some reason, fires their manager and gets a new one in, they might get a manager boost as well and then start hopping up the table.
You just want to start firing everybody.
I'm just saying, their fans aren't happy either. And I'm happy they're showing some ambition. I wish some of ours were. But you got the ones above.
You don't think the guys in the spaces are showing any love?
No. I'm just saying that, like, actually, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep going on here. I mean, you can keep defending the same thing over and over, but if it doesn't work, I mean, it's doing the same thing is insanity. That's all I'm trying to say. And if it doesn't work, if you want to keep it that way, by all means, keep it that way. You deserve it. Anyways, going back to it, even if we stick with Bob and we sneak into the playoffs, we're just going to lose. We're just going to lose the first round. It doesn't matter. If we change something, at least we attempted to try it. That's the whole thing. We attempted to try it. You can't just stick with the same thing over and over and over again if it doesn't work.
So even if they win this out against Galaxy, that's not changing your mind at all.
No, it's not. No,
not at all.
I know how this team is. We won. What was the one game we all got excited about? I forgot which one it was. Right? Yay, we're back. And then the next 3 games we lost and then draw. And then we're like, oh, we're back to normal again. It's the same thing. The mentality here sucks. It sucks.
So you feel like you new blood. You need a new voice. That's what you want.
Yes, we need someone that the troops can get around, man. They look at Bob. They're like, oh, here we go again. It's the same tactics. It's the same thing in training. It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. I know I'm a little bit overboard here, but
no. Look. You're not being overboard. You're being honest, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You can't tell me this roster isn't talented either.
Oh, 100% it is. Too much talent on this roster.
Yeah, there's too much talent to be this bad or this poor or bang average. You need someone that's going to get a fire under these guys.
Fair enough. Katie, she always got some great comments. She says, subpar players. No one played well. Vela's out, so we can't keep saying he is playing poorly. I don't think it's a coincidence. He's out for probably 3 to 5 games. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I know he's definitely going to be out. Well, I shouldn't say definitely. I'm assuming he'll be out for El Tráfico. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, no, it's not looking good. Yeah, and I think the if there's never a positive when your best player is not playing. But the flip side to that is you're going to have Orongo, you're going to have Brian Rodriguez, and you're going to have Diego Rossi all start. And I think that this is going to be the first time all 3 starting. This could potentially be the future of LAFC next season if Carlos Vela doesn't come back. You know, this could potentially be the front 3 with if Vela doesn't come back. You know, and I think you could potentially see that this Saturday. JP, it looks like you got something to say.
I don't think Rossi will be here next season. I just think he deserves to be in Europe.
I don't the way he's been playing.
I know the way he's been playing is good, but I just don't think he's gonna want to stay another season at LAFC. I think
who's gonna pick up Look, Rossi is talented, but not this year. Not this year so far.
His contract isn't his contract up at the end of the season too?
Is it? I don't know.
No. I just don't see Rossi next season. Regardless of where he goes, I just don't see him at LAFC next season.
Fair point, because the MLS is so bad and we don't know their contracts. I think you're right about that. But nevertheless, 2 out of the 3 players are going to be here.
Chicho and B-Rod are going to stay. Yeah, that's the future.
But and I also stick with my point. I don't think there's really no interest for the big club, the European clubs. Maybe there'll be interest everywhere else. Yeah. But the European clubs he's being linked to earlier.
It's over. He's not going.
Maybe the new coach. Maybe if we get a new coach, he might sway him to stay and revitalize his career 1 year. I don't know.
I don't think his career is over.
I know, but get his market value, resurge his market value. But yeah, I mean, look, the next 3 games, Carson, Sporting SKC, and Real Salt Lake, all at home. The only winnable game I see is Real Salt Lake because we have their number and beat them twice already. But I mean, apart from that, we have to play Portland and we play Austin. We visit Austin and then we play Portland on turf, and we don't do good in turf. Anything can happen against Carson, and that might buy Bob like 2 more weeks. But we have to play SKC, who's destroyed us both times, and Real Salt Lake, who we've beat twice, but might want their revenge again against us.
I want to get into Chris's comment. It says LAFC would have to win out the rest of the season for Bob to stay, and that's not going to happen. LAFC Live is right, and I also have to say, also said it all season long. Bob needs to go. Look at you, them stroking your ego, LAFC Live.
Hey, I'm just speaking from the heart, man. That's all.
He's the prophet. He's the prophet.
The prophet. This
He has
guy.
the beard. He has the beard and everything. He just needs to grow the hair.
Yeah, look, I look. It doesn't even look promising for Vela to come back next year. He keeps being so injury prone, and I don't know if you guys would like him to come back, even though with so many, he's getting so injury prone. The mentality's not there. You know, it's probably best for Vela not to play. You know, these next couple of games, and then you can kind of fill it out what happens there, because it's not looking good. Either way, you cut it for him. But I think one of the positives that we've seen is Tomas Romero. This season, Kim Won, Jose Cifuentes. But on the other side, Eduardo Tuesta, Diego Rossi, Carlos Vela, the main guys you wanted to step up obviously haven't been there, and I think that's the biggest thing that's been so disappointing. But look, I'm very interested to see how this team does on Saturday. And I know a lot, at least half what I've been seeing on Twitter. Obviously, there's been a lot of back and forth. But to me, that tends to happen with any team, right? But I think there comes a point, and I don't need to change anybody's mind or want to change anybody's mind, whether you're Bob out or you're Bob in. That's not what I typically do. I'm here about having this conversation, but it's just the thing that's really struck me the most has been about Bob Bradley in this press conferences, from being able to cover his team from the beginning to now. Like, that's the most shocking thing to me, because it's always been a very vocal leader, very showed how strong he is to bring these guys together and all these things. But unfortunately, things just haven't been going the right way, and it's unfortunate because this brings me back to a conversation I had with someone in the organization earlier this year. And I thought back about this after LAFC lost, and I remember I've said it in this podcast, but I remember saying it. I remember speaking with this individual. I'm like, how do you feel about this season? Like, don't you feel like there's more pressure this season on you guys? Because 2019 there was no pressure for LAFC to do big things that they did, right? 2020 you had COVID and all these different things, but then you saw CONCACAF Champions Leagues, right? But this was the year that all eyes were on LAFC. Like, LAFC needs to do something. They're going to do something big. All eyes. Everybody expects things from you, right? Expects things from Carlos Vela. Expect things from Diego Rossi. Expect things from Mark Anthony Kaye, who's not here. And I feel like all that pressure really has gone to them because, look, I know it's only been a couple games, but Mark Anthony Kaye is in Colorado. I don't think he feels the same type of pressure that he did here. You know what I'm saying? Because Colorado has been consistently good even before he got there, but now he can play free. He scored a goal. I think he made team of the week. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's looking a little bit more happy. He's more lively. I think also to Diego Rossi, and I'm just assuming here, so I just want to be clear. I'm just assuming here, right? Diego Rossi, you had a Golden Boot winner. You won Golden Boot. Now you got to have the same type of season because you want to go to Europe, and it's all that. And you got to win the MLS Cup, and you have to have this big performance. And Carlos Vela, I want to win MLS Cup this year. And Bob Bradley talking about, I want to win MLS Cup, rightfully so. But I feel like all that pressure, I wanted to see how LAFC was going to do, and so far they haven't done so well. And I think the pressure really has gone to them because it's never easy. It's never easy when you have that much pressure, right? You have to handle all these things, and you get an injury in the beginning, and this happens. You start losing, and people start talking about you. It's not easy, but I just felt like this was the hardest year for LAFC out of all 4 years, maybe the first year, but I felt that this was the hardest year because of all the things that they were expected to do.
Doesn't that beg the question of who was supposed to lead them through that pressure then? And that's Bob. And he hasn't led them.
I would say Bob in the front office. It's not just on Bob.
Yeah, but all eyes are on Bob. And then
Bob, look, at the end of the day, it's Bob's job to make it work, no matter what happens.
Well, and he hasn't.
No matter what happens. But I would also say that the front office has a lot to do because everybody knew LAFC needed a number 9 since the last season. Why'd you bring him in a month ago or 3 weeks ago? Why'd you bring in Chicho if you knew that from the start of the year?
JT also said he had the money before the K and the Bear deal.
That's what I'm saying.
So
they had the money before Corey Baird. They had the money. They had the money.
Why
before.
wait? Why did he wait so long? And is that setting? And I know, and I should be on JT. Questions should be asked on JT. And I've been also JT out too, but not.
No.
Not yet.
Let's get my words right. I did not say that.
I said.
Let's get my words right, because JP over here. Let's get my words right. Look, I think everybody needs to be looked at. It's not just Bob, because you needed a number 9 since the beginning, and you needed a lot of different things. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go to the game live on Saturday?
No.
Will you go? Will you go to another LAFC home game this year?
Oh yeah, of course I will. I don't. Hey, once they scan my ticket, I'm back in the team for 90 minutes. But before and after, I'll say whatever the hell I want. So it is what it is. Bob in, Bob out. I'll be at the games, but obviously I'm not going this weekend because I don't have the money to go to that, because I just came back from Vegas. So I'll be back though. Obviously, love going to the games. And then also, hey, someone put a tweet out today that if they lose to Carson this weekend, 32-52 might say Bob out. So be on the lookout for that. That'd be kind of.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that.
Hey, you know what?
The only reason I don't see that happening is because the 32-52 is run by LAFC. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. It's run by LAFC, and I don't think LAFC is going to let that happen.
They're being disrespected, and the coach and everybody not taking accountability for these L's. I mean, is that fair to them? They're giving it.
No. Look. This is not. No, I agree with your point, but I just don't see it happen because I know how the 32. I have an idea. Let's put it that way, but I just don't think the LAFC folks are going to let that happen.
It's not. I don't see it happening. Some might, but it'll be hushed up.
Are you behind this live? You said I saw some tweet.
Hey,
He said I saw some tweet. Did you read the tweet from your own account?
I retweeted it earlier. I retweeted it earlier. Check my retweets. But
I'm kidding with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm teasing.
No, I'm just saying that, like, hey, if they do it, they do it. But hey, if you pay for a ticket, say whatever you want after the game or whatever. You're in there. But
I don't have a problem fans saying whatever they want, or whatever they want to say, right? Honestly, it's not, if it's not foul or whatever. But yeah, at the end of the day, this team should not be where it's at right now, and it's not a far place where it needs to go. But yeah, it's not looking good, and that's just says you're completely wrong about 32-52. They will support regardless.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I'm saying I don't think they're gonna say that. I think they're going to support regardless, and that's how LAFC tends to run things, and it is. But look, if you want to say Bob out, Bob in, go for it. I'm not here to promote you, to tell you what's wrong, what's right. Like, if you buy a ticket and you want to say what you want to say, not with me. I really find that difficult because of how the team's so into it. But look, if you want to do that, if you want to do that, I have no problem. And I know a lot of people, even Oscar says right here, he says, I will be screaming Bob out, win or lose.
There you go.
The win or lose. And then he says, just like they say in Las Buenas and Las Malas, always LAFC.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, every time, like, if we don't get a result, 32-50 is always rocking. And I can always count on them to show up and give it their all, but it's the players on the pitch I can't count on anymore, really, or even the coach. So I look forward. It was kind of sad. I look forward more to hearing the 32-52 and their chants the whole game than I look forward to the players on the pitch. So,
well, look, this game doesn't matter who's in form. So it doesn't. Look, let's be honest. LA Galaxy are obviously the better team right now, but these games have gone to show that it doesn't matter whether you're above the standings or below the standings or playing below par level. It doesn't really matter. Even without Chicharito and Vela, these games will still be entertaining. Go ahead.
This is the first game where LAFC is below LA Galaxy in the standings. This is the first Old Trafford goal where Galaxy's on top, and I guess the pressure should be on them. Where I guess the pressure is on LAFC because of who they are. Still, this game.
I don't think the pressure is really on.
On us. It was way on us to get a result.
It is on us because it's a 4-game losing streak and a 7-game winless streak. That's where the pressure comes from. But maybe from the media, from the league or everybody, they're going to say, Galaxy's on top, their history or whatever. and they might, paint it out that way. But inside LAFC has a lot of pressure.
No, you're right. You're right. I was thinking something else, but no, you're right. It is a lot more pressure because of the situation of what this potential could mean for Bob, what this potentially mean for Carlos Vela, what potentially mean for a lot of players in this league. Chris says, why does the front office management care so much about what the 3252 says? That's no disrespect to the 3252, as I love them for the energy, passion, but the point of management is to make hard decisions and not influenced by fans. Yes, look, I agree with what you're saying, but also the caveat to that, you wouldn't have the 3252 if it wasn't for the people able to manage in 3252. So without the management, there's no 3252. You need someone to guide and be able to set up. Obviously, the fans are doing all the work, but there is a point person in LAFC that helped it get to where it is now. And I don't think you don't see that in other clubs. But LAFC really care about their fan base, and that's why the 3252 are they where they are, because the people that work within the club make it that special. And that's why I feel like I don't see them saying those kind of chants. Just what it is, and that's just how it is with LAFC. Let's get some final thoughts here, because live look like he's he's had it.
Pass out.
He's had
now, so yeah.
What? Go. I didn't hear what you said.
I had it for 4 weeks now with this team, so yeah, it's fine.
4 weeks.
We're good.
But you still got to watch regardless, right? You still got to watch
the game. I got to watch. It's my team, man. Just because on a losing streak doesn't mean you stop supporting them. You support the team, but if you want change, you want change. So
fair enough. Let's get your final thoughts, JP.
I hope for the best. But this is, like I said, it's the first time the pressure is not on LAFC other than inside LAFC. So maybe they show their character. Bob really just says one last hurrah or whatever, and maybe they just do it for themselves. The players just do it for themselves, and crack out some 3 points crack out a win for LA for City Pride, and to just really brush off this bad stretch of games. But do I see that happening? Maybe not. It could be potentially we go up and then mistakes lead to a tie or whatever. But I want to beat Galaxy. I want to beat them. I always want to beat them. But you got to be realistic sometimes.
Chris K says, if we beat Galaxy, I will call it the season success. Yeah. That's where I'm at. Okay, look, there's nothing wrong with that. Live final thoughts.
To quote Jose Mourinho, if I speak.
Oh shoot! Here comes with the European takes. I love these.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be serious. We're gonna lose probably 3-1. It's gonna be fun.
No, give us your quote. I thought you were gonna give us a quote.
That was the quote.
I did. I said it's a quote.
Oh, that was the quote. Okay.
If I speak, I'm in trouble. I'll be in trouble.
So there you go.
Gotcha. I didn't hear that.
With my heart says, my LAFC heart is telling me that we're gonna win 2-1, but my brain is telling me you're stupid. We're gonna lose 3-1. I'm being honest, man. I don't see it.
Look, this is what sports does to us. This is what football does to us. So look, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for being on. Thank you for everybody in the chat on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. If you guys are going to be at the All-Star game, JP and I will be there checking it out. This is going to be my first time, checking out the All-Star game. So I'm excited to see what happens, even though the big name stars aren't going to be there. So yeah, I'm excited. If you guys are going to be at the All-Star game, definitely shoot me a DM. Definitely shoot me a message. We'd love to meet up with you guys. So that's going to wrap things up for today's show. For Live, for JP, this is Gio. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.